Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's everybody doing this fine evening? It's Talk with the Soul Brothers conversation tonight. Conversation with some Soul Brothers. Like, subscribe, let somebody know, share with somebody, tell somebody to tell somebody that we're out here talking real man talk. Sherrod, what we got going on today, brother?
Hey man, we got a video by Pastor Key. Is it Keion Clark? Is that his name?
Yeah, that's his name. Yep, yep.
Okay, I got a video to play, man, and then I want y'all to give me, y'all thoughts on his words.
Most men in this room and most online will tell you that all of their life they have been the last thing to be considered. Everything comes before man. We even got statements like ladies first, happy wife. And even parents teach their sons, let them go first. And so in every step of his life, he's always last. Women get in the club for free. Now we gotta buy bottles at $1,500 a pop so all of the women can drink for free. Remember when I read the text didn't say we were made for y'all. The Bible says she was made for him. And by the way, if you go and look in the Old Testament, whenever a man and woman was married in the Old Testament, a woman stood at the altar and the man walked down the aisle. But now here comes, if you don't believe me, the church is the bride and Jesus is the groom. And the last I saw, the church is here waiting on the groom to come. So if you want us to love you like God loved the church, why are we always doing the waiting?
So what was the synopsis of the video? Because I can barely hear it, Rod. So he was saying, what was he saying? And just give us a quick synopsis, because I don't think we really
basically,
heard it.
it's ladies first, happy life, happy wife. So basically, everything is centered around women. A man, any and everything about a man is basically we gotta hold up and wait for a woman to get her flowers first.
That narrative is changing because men are starting to wake up. This has always been the narrative: happy life, happy wife, which I think is bullshit. It's supposed to be happy house, happy spouse. You know what I'm saying? A happy spouse, happy house. Because it takes two to do this thing, and it's always been catered to women throughout our lives, even though society has perpetrated that we don't love the women, but yet women always come first. We've seen it. That's why we, as men, do what we do. We open the doors for them. We gesture, we put them on the side. We protect them with our lives, walking them inside the curb while we stay on the outside of the curb, just in case a car jumped the curb. You know what I'm saying? It's always been perpetrated that way, and we was raised that way to believe that and understand that. So some of us don't really mind that it's about the ladies first, but guys are starting to wake up now and going, hey, it's about me too. We have some value in this as well, because without us, a lot of you ladies wouldn't, it's a protect thing, but in some ways, it's always been about the lady. So I mean, once we get into the conversation, that's just my little two piece on it. I may elaborate a little bit more once I hear some other thoughts, but I don't really know. We always come up last for the most part. It's just how society sort of portrayed all men. It's not just black men; it's all men. But black men have a little bit worse than others.
Fellas?
Yeah, I like that answer. Well, because we are evolved, mature men are waking up to the self value. Because that's what we were taught. That was what was it, the baby boomers or the silent generation of how the household was ran. Women were catered to, stay at home moms and that stuff. And then, you got the little feminist movement in the 60s and early 70s that gave women a voice. So, and they start taking that and distorting the I guess the foundation of it and just running with it. They just the woman has always had a value. I think that feminist movement and some of the ideology has pushed it overboard. They forget that we're teammates. You know what I'm saying? It's a house. You got a husband and a wife, and it became ego driven, and I believe they got a little bit more selfish and their view on their life. I'm the catch, I'm the prize. And it's, oh, okay, yeah, you are catching the prize, but I am too. And we fell into that for a while, as far as like, okay, yeah, chasing the women, and now brothers are actually waking up to like, hey, hold on now, I got some value. I bring some to the table. Acknowledge me too. We want to acknowledge the women, and there's nothing wrong with being that, but it's a distorted view with a lot of these over me women. So, but that's how I feel. That's why I appreciate what I have now and what I see now and some of the brothers. It's okay. We don't have to fight. You just not for us. you know. So
Yeah.
that's just my point of
No, I
view.
think that's it. I like that point of view, man. I mean, I like I heard that video before. I heard him say that from that point. So yeah, the synopsis that you gave on that one, Sherrod, was dope in regards to, you know, now keep in mind that he's a pastor, right? So he's keeping it from like this spiritual perspective, right? So when he says like, let's go back to the Old Testament, which when you go back to that Old Testament and you see that it's about the man from this point in time, right? Man providing from this point in time, and there's this gender roles from this point, and I think a lot of that just has to do culturally, honestly. So I know you brought it up, Will, as far as like that it's maybe different from a racial perspective. I mean, like us all the same from this point, but I think I will add a racial element to that. That black women have always had to hold down like the household in a certain way, and particularly as like you said, John, as that women's liberation movement started to come through, I think that I think a lot of women I, I follow it, and I think it's a great movement. I think women did need those rights, those civil rights from this point, those civil liberties from this point. But the question, what happens is just that when do you put the hat on and take the hat off from that perspective? Because most of us came from households and families where, my dad worked and my mom stayed at home and raised the kids. We 70s babies, right? So
Mhm.
from that point, and then later on, my mom got out. My parents divorced, and my mom got a chance to get out into the workforce. Things changed from that point, man. I mean, I think Natalie Cole said it best in that song. Like, listen, what I'm saying, like all that women liberation stuff, man. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because if you got a good man at the crib and you quick to run them on out that door, we got to have more conversations in regards to what's the spiritual principles that we're going to run this thing by, and then also what's the gender roles from this point, right? So, like previously talking about this conversation before, like I mean, the audience didn't have privilege to talk when we started off talking about like those roles with Sherrod in the leaves. You know what I'm saying? As far as like, you out in the yard, and that's a gender role, right? So the expectation is that the man, gonna be out and take care of that outside of the yard. There's gonna be some assistance there from a woman from this point, but the primarily work falls on that man this way. So the happy wife, happy life stuff, that I'm not in agreement on that part, because the reality is how you define it happy. You feel me? Like how you define it happy. Like what does happy really mean? You know what I'm saying? So um, I like what the brother is saying from this point, because even when you look at marriage, right? Think about it from this point in time. I remember when I got married, people was telling me, like, it was like, it's her day. And I was like, man, shit, nigga, I'm giving up my life too. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? That's I'm changing in that regards as well too. So it's not just one sided from this way. So we have to have that togetherness. And like you were saying, John, man, when you find that person, get it, you just really finding, man, what fits for you. You feel
Mhm.
me? Like and you learn, and now I think where we at in our age now, we learning a lot more. We got that wisdom now to say, yeah, that don't really necessarily don't really fit for what I'm looking for from this point
Yeah.
in time. If you're
Yeah.
looking for me to be that guy who gonna make sure everything gonna go your way from this point in time, then yeah, we can end this date right now. We can get the check. We can go ahead on. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and keep that thing moving, man. So yeah, I think that's where we at from that point. What's your take on it, bro?
Man, I agree with y'all, man, wholeheartedly, 100%. As far as That's just how we were raised, man. I think that's why one of the reasons why I wanted to start up a conversation, to let young black men know that they're important as well, because we're always taught from shorties all the way up. Hey man, you got to treat a woman this way. Don't hit a woman. Open the door. It's always, hey man, make sure your mama cool. My pops, hey, protect your mama against anybody, including me. It's always an emphasis on the well-being of women. That's fine. I'm cool with all of that. But I think in the midst of the feminist movement coming through, I was trying to actually find a video where one of the women that was really big in the feminist movement, she says, it's been hijacked by extremists. And she said it was never meant to be what it is today. And what she was saying was, we just wanted equal pay. She says, nowadays, you're trying to destroy men to uplift women. She said, it was never meant to be that way. We just wanted the same amount of money for the same work being done. Now, she says, now, if you look at the boys are being really destroyed in the educational system and being left behind, because now the whole emphasis is on uplifting little girls and women. And that right there really struck home, because it's like, when you look around, like you said, happy life, happy wife. Phil, what'd you say? On that wedding day, it's my day too. I got to show up to even make it a day, right? And it's like, most of the time we don't say anything. We let them have the day. It is all about them. We want to make sure that they're smiling, they're happy. It's always, their emotions over anything. Whether it's right or wrong, it's always their emotions. And I'm a firm believer in protecting a woman, making sure she's cool, the whole 9 yards. I was listening to Shaquille O'Neal. He did a interview with Ryan Clark, and he says a man should never come home and tell his wife or woman about his bad day. That's not a man. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. If she's my partner, I'm
Yeah,
supposed to be
Yeah.
able to tell her
yeah,
about what's going on, man,
Yeah.
because he says we're supposed to protect her from everything. We're supposed to protect, provide, and,
and
and, and
profess.
love. He says,
Yeah,
but if I tell her about my bad day, then we both got a bad day. I'm like, see, these are the messages that y'all sending these boys out here. That's why 80% of all suicides are men. 4 times likely to kill themselves, because they're bottling all this stuff up, and we don't let it out because we feel like, hey man, I'm tough, I'm holding it in. No, you silently killing yourself with stress.
oh,
You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing I've watched. Man, I've just watched brothers, man, get jumped on by women, never say a word.
Oh
You
man.
know,
man,
Yeah.
and it's
yeah,
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
yeah,
and and
Yeah.
it's like, I'm not a, I'm not a, I'm not a, I'm not a man that believes that, going out hitting women. But at the same time, man, we got to teach everybody to keep their
Yeah.
hands to
Keep your hands
themselves.
to yourself.
to
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying, man. It's like, I want our young men to know that they are just as important as the
Yeah.
young ladies too, and we don't have to diminish somebody else's value
Right.
to uplift somebody else.
that's
Yeah.
real talk. That's
I
real talk.
think that's real important too. Very important, especially for young men. But
Yeah,
I think it need a
and to your
balance
young
needs to
man
be.
out there too. Go ahead, Johnny. My
Yeah.
bad.
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead, Will. Go ahead.
Yeah, to your young man out there too, man. Start using your heads. When these ladies want to lay hands on you, do what they do. Soon as you lay hands on what they do, they call their mama, they call the police. Start doing that shit. Just stop laying hands on you. You ain't gotta put your hands back on them. Just pick up the phone and dial 911. Yeah, some people may call me a sucker, but guess what? She won't hit no damn person again when she get locked up for a couple of days over the weekend because he done smacked me upside the head thinking it's sweet.
Yeah.
I bust him upside the head. Yeah, now your ass there for the weekend, and I'm
Yeah.
out here
What a
fighting.
record.
So don't be afraid, man, because the stigma out there is that hey, oh, you a punk if the lady hits you and you call the police on no, because if the shoe was on the other foot, they dialing the popos on you, or they calling their big brothers, or they calling their cousins, You know, and if we did the same thing, now it's an issue. Now it's a retaliation thing because you called your cousin to come whip on Shanae because Shanae laying hands on you, and we guys we ain't gonna put our hands on the girl. So now you're gonna call your cousin and your little sister to come through and blaze her. Now it's an issue. So I'm just saying, I'm just being real. Pick up the phone, man. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Say,
Hey,
I'm
we
telling
men
you.
out here, and they say, you know, hey, oh man, and woman can hit a man, men stronger. Come on.
It's
Yeah, we can take a lick, but come on, do we have to? They shouldn't put hands on us anyway.
yeah,
Right.
Period. You
yeah,
know? And I'm just saying that, you know, if you're hearing that and you listening out there, step outside, pick up the phone, and call a pump on their ass. Simple. They won't hit you again. They'll think twice. Trust and believe. What you got,
Okay.
Flo? You up there
Yeah,
scratching your head
yeah,
like, damn,
yeah,
bro.
yeah, yeah. Okay, now, now, okay. I mean, I think this is a cultural thing for me, as far as as a just as a black man, you want to keep the police out of any situation that you can possibly keep the police out of. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Like that's just my take. So I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you on that point. I'm saying as far as like I think that you have to look at situations and kind of assess them for yourself.
Yes,
And I so I'm gonna take it a little bit further. Before that, let's back up just a little bit from that point. Man, just know who you fucking with.
that too.
Period. Just
yeah,
choose well.
yeah,
Choose
yeah,
well. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you never know how any situation is gonna go. People, shit happens in relationships, but you want to be in a situation, man, when you choosing somebody that just be a little more patient in regards to who you dating, who you laying up with. You know what I'm saying? Who you living with, who you having a kid by, all the rest of it,
Right.
who you decide to have a child by, and hopefully you get to those points when those times come, you can learn how to just walk away. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Being in a position where it's like, okay, man, you could take all the rest of the stuff, but you doing that, man, while you're grabbing your keys and grabbing your coat and going to get to the car, man, and go ahead and get on up out of there. You feel me from this point in time? So you got options and choices from that point, man, because when the police come out, man, that thing never looks right when you never know how that thing gonna go. You see what I'm saying? So, black people come out, man, and that's just the reality to it. When the police come out, it's everybody, you don't know who's gonna go to jail in that situation. You know what I'm saying?
Nine
So,
times out of ten is gonna be the guy. We know
right,
that, but
right,
I'm just
right,
telling them
exactly.
get away from the
Yeah,
house and make that call.
yeah. And
I'm just I'm
I
being
think
silly, man.
it's a thing where I don't know this one judge, man. I think it's Lynn Toller. I fucks with her hard, man. Well, she's the one who said, um, like, man, you never hit a man where it hurts. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
Never hit a
that's my
man where
girl.
it hurts.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's
my
my
girl.
girl,
Yeah,
Lynn
yeah.
Toler. Yeah,
Lil Totally, yeah, she dope, man.
yeah,
And she talks about her husband had passed away. He's passed
yeah,
away now, but they had a blended family from this point in time. And he
Mhm.
didn't have much when they met each other. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
what he had was who he was as his character from this point. Like she's like, I was on him because of who he was as the man from this point in time, what he wanted to be, and to help him to get to that, to strive to get to that place from this point, right? So to go back to, I'm adding to the part that Sherrod was saying, like the part with Shaq, man, just because somebody's a celebrity and they got a microphone in front, camera in front of them, don't mean they know what the fuck they talking about.
Right.
That
You know what I'm saying? So I
Absolutely.
think a lot of times people got to know that and understand that, because the irony to that you brought up Shaq to say that, and yet the video that we're talking about is discussing he's with his current wife, his ex-wife, right?
Mhm.
So, and the appearance, I'm gonna say the appearance is the appears that she's very happy with where she's at from this point in time. That relationship worked for her from this point in time, right? And in all fairness to Shaq as well, I mean, I heard him say very positive things about his ex-wife and how he kind of fucked up that
Mm-hmm.
relationship with through his infidelities and
Yeah.
everything else from that point in time. So sometimes, man, I think just everybody has a different perspective of how they perceive relationships and what they're looking for. Like probably all four of us have a different perspective of what we find to be attractive in a woman.
oh
You
yeah.
see what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
And what we're looking for. So I mean, I think it's what I do know. Let me not say I don't know, because I do know that we have to have a better judgment in regards to, like, no one's upset about trying to make. Of course, I want to make my woman happy. That's
Mm-hmm.
Right.
part of my job from this point in time, and I'm here to serve. Right? That's my role. That's my spiritual space. As far as I'm here to serve. And the reality is the same thing when you get with somebody that she feels that same way and operates within those same
Yeah,
spaces. That the conversation, bro, it's these conversations we got to teach these young boys, these young fellas, and also adult men as well, too, right? Men as
yeah.
well. We got to be having these conversations, man, with our partners and our mates about what's the goal, what we trying to do,
Mhm.
my fears, my insecurities, the shit that's like, yeah, baby, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, don't say that to me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, you know, you call me that, you know, don't call me out my name. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
now listen,
Yeah.
you can say some shit to me, but
Yeah.
some shit I'm just not gonna allow
Yeah.
that to be the
Yeah.
case, right? So it's setting those standards as men, it's a way how you handle that. And it's the respect. I'm gonna give you respect and I'm expect you to give me the same. So yeah, that's my take on it, bro.
Yeah. I
All right.
believe that's a great answer. Um, Over the years, as young, like you said, as young man, we start to discern what is good for us and what isn't. Like I said, we want to take care of the mate. That's what we've been taught. We want to take care of the woman, the chivalry. That's what it is. That's what's been taught to us. 70s babies, that chivalry, and we want to take care of that. But then when it's not appreciated, because going through relationships, going through the trials, um, you start to distinguish, be able to distinguish better who is who and what are they bringing to the table and how, like we say, we had this conversation today, how they can be a nurturer in a relationship. It's easy for us to do those man thing when the woman is doing a nurturing for us as a man, because we leave the mother and we cling to our wives, So if we leave our mother, we're not going to have the nurturing that we was getting from her. So this is the woman's role. So that encourages us and pushes us to, all right, yeah, we want to do that for you. So I just think that we have to give those young men the tools to be able to recognize. Like I tell my son, hey man, forget the one that look the best, get the one that do the best. You know,
Yeah.
you know. Hey, what's them intangibles, man? We're dealing with assets, not liabilities. Sometimes I don't knock all the sisters, but it's just some that know and some that don't know. And the ones that don't know, we know who you are because you show us who you are. And
Yeah.
and I just
Yeah.
want young men to be able to discern a good woman, a good wife, or a good mate for you. You know what I'm
For you.
saying?
Yeah.
That's going to give you what you going to help you become the best version of yourself, and you can help her become the best version of herself. And that's one of the things I used to tell my son: get you a teammate, man. Get you a teammate, and
Yeah.
that's what
That's
you
real
want.
talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
real. That's
that's
real talk,
that's
John. That's good advice. That's good
yeah. So
advice, bro. Yeah.
that's one of the things I wish young fellas could have some mentorship like that. That's why I like what Sherrod said, get the group, the young men and get them involved. But I don't think it would be a bad thing for the brothers to do that, to put the woman first and do all of that, as long as they're getting that nurturing. That's the currency.
Well, okay. So that leads me to something else. If you guys don't mind, I'm not hijacking. It's
Oh, go
us
ahead,
having
man.
a conversation. So what does that look like, man? Like because that is true. It's important, right? That nurturing. What does that look like? Do we all? What does that look like to each one of us?
Well,
But
I
you know
had it.
what?
I ain't gonna even lie. I just came out of my relationship after 40 years, and that nurturing was there. That's one of the reasons why I was in it for so long because the caring, the providing and loving on me and all that was there, man. It's like, damn, I ain't never had this. So it's similar to what my mom gave, but on a different level because we was loving each other in the process. I'm doing my due diligence, she's doing her due diligence. You know what I'm saying? And we talking about it and meeting in the middle. Yo, what are your goals? What are my goals? That this is what we're gonna do moving forward. I mean, we didn't get 40 years in the game by not having that, you know what I'm saying? So the conversations were there, like we was all talking about a minute ago. Hey, you gotta have that conversation, you gotta find a teammate. And yeah, things happen in life, and that's why we're not together now. But that time that we had, we was moving on that same path for a long time, man. And it was one on one. Hey, oh, this is where you at. Oh, I got you. Them days, like Shaq say, I had them bad days, and I didn't really want to talk about it. I had somebody stroking the back of my head saying, "Baby, what's going on? Talk to me. What's happening with you?" And I melt in her arms, go, you know what? It was a tough day today, man. You don't even understand. I almost lost my job. You know, somebody almost ran me off the road today. I wanted to bust somebody in the head because I was really upset. Oh, you know what? I'm glad you didn't do that because then I would have lost you. You would have been locked up. You would have been, and I needed that, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the difference. Some women can't do that at all. Oh, yo, punk ass, get your, what's wrong with you? Why you sitting up here? You see the difference? You see the difference? What I told you right there? That's a whole difference. Some women can't even do it because they don't know how. They never been
Yeah.
taught. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they've been seeing women in their life do that to the men in their life. So they think that's what it's supposed to be. So when you got
Yeah.
somebody who's seen it, maybe how a woman treats a man and how that man reciprocates that love back, there's a difference in that, man. And it shows.
Hmm.
And like I say, that's the difference. I had it. I miss it sometimes. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna even lie.
Yeah.
Being
Yeah.
real,
I know. I know.
we had it, man. We was on the right path, But then things took a turn, nothing real horrible, but just some growth things in there that happened, man. But at one point in time, it was there. Trust and believe. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
nobody does 4 decades, man. And you know what I'm saying? Not many people
Yeah.
can do 5 years, let alone 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Facts.
saying?
That's yeah. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. What
You
about you,
know,
big bro?
I think that young men, in order for them to find out what kind of woman they want in their life or need in their life, they need to know who they are, right?
Yo, that
That's
makes
the
sense.
Yeah, I
first thing. They have
applaud
to
that.
discover,
Absolutely.
discover
Yeah.
Yeah,
who they are.
Yeah.
real.
And it's
Yeah.
like, and then when you find out your likes and dislikes, then like I told my son, you're not going to know who's the right woman for you until you get your own place. See, when you get your own place, you're going to discover what peace is, right? You're going to discover what harmony is. You're going to be going around your house, man. You're going to have certain things you want a certain way and this and that and the other. You're going to have an aura when you walk in your house, close that door, the outside world is shut out. Now it's your space. You've made it up, for yourself. You know what happiness is. You at home. Now, as soon as you invite her into your house, it's like a vampire. You have to invite them into your house in order for them to come in, right?
All right,
so,
sinners.
so
Gotta get the
Love
invite.
when
the
you
analogy,
invite,
bro.
hey, when you invite her in, if you feel any disruption in the energy in your home, because you got to realize some people are called psychic vampires. They will drain you. So you allow her to come in. Let her be herself around your home, and then you will see. I can't do this, man. She leave this here. She don't put her dishes back. You know, you're gonna see if she disrupts the flow of your environment. I'm not saying don't make any what they call it concessions. I'm not saying don't change up something because you can't, it can't be all you. You gotta allow her to be herself, and then there's some things you're gonna have to bend on. But those deal breakers have to remain deal breakers. You
uh,
know, everybody has a quirk. I know I got quirks. I know I got it like a motherfucker, right? And you know, and so any woman that deal with me, it's like, yeah, he's this, he's that. Hey, when I first come home, can we not talk? I need to just let me get that stench off me from out there, out of my mind. Let me just breathe. And that's what I want young men to realize, man. Discover who you are. Cause see, once you discover who you are, then you'll realize who's the right mate for you. And you want to select a woman that'll fit into your program, right? For me, this is my thinking. Get a woman that fits into your program. If you love hiking, get you a woman that loves hiking or understands why you hike, right?
Mhm.
She has to. You can't have this tug of war thing going on, and that's what a lot of relationships are. I think a lot of relationships are built on this. Well, we're gonna be a power couple. No, a lot of it is just a power struggle because they're struggling to see who's actually the man in a relationship. It's like, oh, we fighting each other. No, we supposed to be fighting against the world, man. It's like it's us against everybody else
Yeah.
that ain't on our team, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I
That's
want.
valid.
That's one of my biggest goals. I want these young men to be able to understand who they are, what they like and want out of life. And if we can get them to understand that, I think we'll build a better brother, man, damn near overnight. If we can
Yeah.
get what they say, if you change your mind, you change your world.
Mm.
Let's change these boys' minds to realize, hey, you're supposed to protect your woman. That's not a simp protecting your woman. Taking care of your
Right.
woman
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
not a simp.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not bad. You just want to be able to have a woman that reciprocates, appreciate, and initiate all those things too.
Mm.
You got to get something out of it. It's not just you give, 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 give. It's not bad to receive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
It's a
saying? And
relationship.
just
Yeah, it's a
make sure when
relationship.
your woman do for you, man, appreciate that shit. Reciprocate that shit.
Hmm.
And guess what? Initiate all those. Listen to her and see what she wants. So a lot of times she don't have to ask. And she should be doing the same thing for you. Y'all should be. That's it's crazy when you can see two people that's been together so long, they finish each other's sentences. That's crazy to me. That's because
Yeah.
a lifetime of studying each other and loving each other and respecting each other.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that respect part. Okay, so I'm gonna look at it from this perspective. That's just that. Like, how long do you think it took you to get that though? To know you. So like we can talk to the young boys because obviously we talk to a lot of the young fellas this way that may watch it. Um, but I just don't want us to skip like a whole. It took us it took us a long time to get to this wisdom that we have now,
Yeah.
right? Like we made a lot of mistakes,
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
missteps, right? And so yeah, we want to impart that on them, but at like it took me a minute to get to that what you just said though, bro. Like you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, understanding the importance of my space, right? And how important my space is from this point in time. Because I if you look at it from because as I was thinking about it from this point in time, you were telling your son, and so I'm just thinking of an age range from that point in time. Yeah, you can watch it. I mean, that's great advice. You can watch it, see how she operates, how she moves. But we gonna keep it 100 because it's a real podcast from this way in time. Like sex changed that situation though.
Oh
You see what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Oh yeah.
She can be a vampire. She can be like, man, leave this shit over here, dirty clothes this way. But shit, nigga, she get down in that bedroom a certain way. He like, man, shit, fuck this motherfucking bitch. You know
Okay,
what I'm
Still,
look
saying?
that.
right,
still.
She get a
right,
pass.
But see,
right,
but see,
yeah, she get,
that's why we have to talk about what I feel is called dick discipline.
Yeah.
Hmm.
okay, all right. I like
Hmm.
You
that.
know,
I like that.
Hmm.
we
Right.
that's we
Yeah.
like you said, we keeping 100 with
We
these
get
kids. It's
100. We keep on. Yeah,
and
yeah.
bro,
This ain't no
it's
joke, right?
about you controlling your dick. That little man, the little head, can't have all the control. You know what I'm saying? It can't
Yeah,
have none of the control. To be totally honest with you, you always have to be in control. Like I say, hey, love is an emotion. Hey, you control emotions, whether it's
right.
anger, love, happiness. You have
Hmm.
control over those things. So you have to be able to say, you know what? I know I'm lusting after this woman, because see, once you control lust, you control a lot of things. Because I tell any woman, anytime a man has ever walked up to you and asked you for your phone number, he wants to fuck.
No
Flat out,
doubt.
point blank.
And
It ain't no two ways about it.
Down the
All the,
road, we
hey
trying to figure
baby, I
out
want
how
to
to
That's
get
the
to
get
end
know you
game.
and this and that and
That's
the
the
other.
end game.
yeah, that's the
You
end
know,
game, right? Is that right?
now,
Yeah.
what happens is between lust dash like, that dash right there is the time y'all gonna take to get to know each other, see if y'all even like each other. And then that's when the woman should be thinking like, am I gonna let him in? Am I gonna allow him into me? And as a man, you should be like, is she even worth trying to pursue? Because, you know, hey, my time is valuable, my energy is valuable, and all my resources are valuable. So that lust dash like in that little dash, you finding out if you like her. Oh damn, I do like her. Now we're gonna start
Yeah,
spending some time together. So now that dash, the next dash is okay. We like each other. We spending time. We meeting each other's family. Boom, boom, boom. That next dash after dash is love. Oh man, she cool. She's with the program, the whole 9 yards. We get along. Even when we fight, the fights are respectful. Oh man, everything is going great. So that dash is, hey, moving up to the next level. That love is gonna move y'all to whether it's called marriage, cohabitating, or whatever
Hmm.
it is y'all do together. Hey, boom. Now, when y'all got the lust, you gotta have all three in a relationship. Still, you gotta Now, at the end of lust like love, you got to put all of it together and use it all because you still need to lust after your woman. You still need to like your woman. You still need to love your woman. And
Say
it's all of
that.
that. And so, how long did it take to get to this point? It took me a long time because I was a knucklehead. I ain't listening to shit.
Yeah, it took me a minute. Yeah,
You
it
know
took
what
me a minute to
I'm
get there. Yeah,
saying? So,
yeah.
I want to
Me
get
too.
them
It
at
took
a
me a minute.
younger age. And like Bo and Will been and like y'all been all saying, telling me, brother, it ain't just for the young guys. There's some older guys out here that's still
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's for anybody that's 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 ready to learn, man.
that
Ready
hit
to
play.
say, you know what, I
Yeah,
need to make a change, and I love y'all message. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is for me. I want to be able to help any age. At first, I was just so stuck on the younger guys
Yeah.
because hey, that one quote, Frederick Douglass, it's easier to build strong boys than to repair broken men.
Mm,
Hey
mm.
man, I think sometimes we need to stop and fix the broken men too.
facts.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah,
think
that.
that's
Yeah,
some Sherrod said something earlier, but that was, I mean, one of the perfect things. Take some time to get to know who you are as a young man. That's for the younger guys. Definitely, I believe that is wholeheartedly something that's very important for our young men. Get to know who you are. That's why I'm grateful for the military. I ain't, even though I might have my beliefs about it now, I'm grateful for that because that time away, taught me self-discipline, time management, accountability, and then, it helped me along the way. So that'll help you pick your mate. But I believe what Sherrod said earlier is about once you know who you are as a young man and you know what you want, it's easier for you to pick that mate and find you a teammate. And, you know, we just continued that uh the bad pattern for over years, and that's why you like I said, you get the broken men. And the wisdom came later for us. But yeah, expound that young man needs to find out who he is before I think it's important that he find out who he is before, get to dealing with that mate or trying to find that mate because you need that space and to understand who you are and what you're going to accept, what you're not going to accept. Because, I know I gave a lot in the past, but certain nowadays, nah, you know, it's got to be evenly yoked, you know, and
yeah,
but I think that's important though. Get the older heads in there too. That's broken in that
Yeah. Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
I was broken. I joined the military at a young age. I got married at a young age. I
Hmm.
never really got to find myself because I'm the oldest in my family. So I've been taking care of people. Then I got married at 20. So guess what? I started taking care of somebody that moved out to California with me. You know what I'm saying? I never had that opportunity just sit down and figure out who I am, and to recently. And I got a saying that I read every day. It says the minute, damn, my bad guys, it said the minute you decide you want better for yourself is the minute everything begins to shift your way. And I say that because when you make the decision of finding out who you are and how you want to be in your life and start pursuing it and doing it, everything around you start coming right into your pathway because you making the moves towards it. Understand that, young people and older men and whoever out there who's struggling, because it took me almost to my 55th year to understand that wholeheartedly. Because I was taking care of people, people would take care of me, but I never took care of myself for a long time because I was too busy taking care of others. So now I'm at this point, I'm taking care of me. I'm taking care of me, and affirmations help me. So, young brother, if you got something that you enjoy, that you do, that keeps you from snapping out, do that. Find that because it helps you. I love music. That's what keeps me calm. When things go crazy, I step away. I turn on some music, a song, or make a beat, or whatever that keeps you focused on what it is that you need to do to keep you sane and find who you are. Is going to make life so much better for you down the road because then like-minded people will enter your life as opposed to the chaotic shit that used to go on in your life.
And you know
yeah.
what?
I don't know. I
I
mean,
got a quote right here. It says, "The lips of wisdom are closed except to the ears of understanding." Right? Wisdom comes to you when you're finally ready to understand what the word is. And trust me, my pops, man, I remember him telling me so many things, man, when I was younger. And when certain situations hit me and I started understanding the subtle nuances of relationships. Because he spoke to me about relationships, but I'm like, man, I don't want to hear this, man. Come on,
Hmm.
man.
Hmm.
And it was like, back in those days, I'm just looking for a fat ass, man. I ain't looking for, I ain't,
Yeah,
I
you
ain't
keep it
trying to
100.
hear this.
Yeah,
Yeah, keep it
You
100.
trying
yeah,
to
yeah,
talk to me about a
yeah.
wife. A wife? Man, I ain't known that. But you
Right.
don't have to be on that thing for a
Yeah.
wife. It's all about you, bro. Because when you introduce somebody into your life, it's all about peace. When you introduce somebody into your life, you want them to come at peace. You want them to come with peace. And man, I invited some people in my life, man. Although I never went through anything like really crazy, I have had stressful moments where, my marriage was, it was all, it was a motherfucker. Whew,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Shit, right? I got PTSD right now, you know what I'm saying? So
Hey,
it's just one of them things, man, where I had to understand, you know, what he was saying. And my marriage, going through that, all that stuff, it made me understand, like, oh, I get what he's saying. I don't. I want to get to the young men before they get to that point of having to go through something bad to say, now I understand. No, bro, I don't want you to go through that. We trying to help you avoid those pitfalls. I want you to be able to see it better, understand it better, And then I look at my son. It was like, you know what? You're doing way better at your age than I was at your age.
yeah.
Bro,
Hmm. Yeah.
all I'm saying is
Yeah.
if you keep listening to me, I said, I always promised them, I may not help you make it to the pros, but I promise I can get you a productive life if you just follow the plan. And this young man is following it, and I'm like, man, I look back, I was like, damn, I wonder where I would have been if I would have listened to my father at his age.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like you said, like Jay Z, like Johnny just said, man. Like, man, you got to sit up on that one. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. I look at it from that same way. Like, it's it's the advice I give you, advice I give them, wisdom. And the hope and the goal is for most people to not fall and make whatever mistakes this way. But sometimes, man, mistakes are good. You know what I'm saying? Like they can teach you. You know what I'm saying? Like, every L is not a loss, man. Most are a lesson. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes with us as men, that's just how we learn. To be honest
Hmm.
with you, like that's
Hands
how we
on.
learn from mistakes. Hands on, very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so that's the same thing in relationships. Like, you know, when you're able to see some of these relationships, because I mean, at a young age, man, in my 20s, man, I couldn't tell you what peace really looked like, bro. I really couldn't. I couldn't tell you what that looked like. I had this illusion of what I thought it was, and what I kind of wanted to, what I thought it could be, or whatever from this point in time. But I think that just takes time. And the only way you get good at being in a relationship is being in a relationship. You
Right.
got to be in it. You see what I'm saying? So you can't, like, when people be like, oh, I'm taking a break, I'm practicing this, and I'm all for that. Practice celibacy, do whatever it's point in time. But once you get through that part and you get in a relationship, you can throw all that stuff back here out the window because you see what I'm saying? Like, you don't know what you really want in a relationship until you get in a relationship. You feel me?
Hmm.
And once you get in it, then you realize, like, okay, these are some of the things that I'm looking for, but I also gotta be aware of her needs as well
Hmm.
too, right? Like, what is she looking for? What is she not looking for? What can I do better? What can I not do better? I may, when I'm single, I may be like, man, I am a great communicator. But I get in a relationship and it's like, nigga, you don't communicate well. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You like,
Yeah.
so she telling me like, man, you don't communicate well. I'm like, what you talking about? I communicate great. What you talking about? I told you what this and this and this. And then you learn little shit. Like, little shit is the big, right? So it ain't what I said, it's how I said it. You feel me? Like, so now
Yeah.
that becomes more of offensive than anything else. Because in my mind, I communicated, I said it this way. But it's the way that I said it that boom, she shut down,
Hmm.
right? She shut
Hmm.
down with it from this point in time. And so that but you only learn that by being in a relationship and going through it. You feel me? So
Yeah.
so as much as I would like for my son, my daughters from this point in time to listen, I want you to listen to what I have to say from this point in time. But there's going to be some things that you're going to have to go through, and then once you have that point, the hope and prayer is that we come and we have a conversation about it, and you learn how to kind of maneuver through this thing from this point in time. But you got to have some sort of values and principles, man. You got to have some sort of foundation, and the hope that you have someone, that you have some sort of maybe spiritual foundation,
Mm-hmm.
some sort of, it don't always have to be spiritual. So I don't want to come across as if, but I would like for it to be. That's just me. It's just that you have some sort of foundation that you can turn to and know. And this cross the board. This crosses demographic. This crosses age. This crosses gender from this way in time. That you carry yourself in a way that's very respectful for who you want to be as a person. It don't mean, and even with all that said, it don't necessarily mean that relationship is going to work.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
There's no
So
guarantees.
there's
Yeah.
no guarantees. There's no guarantees out of this stuff, man. So to go back to like what old boy was saying in the beginning about happy wife, happy life. Yeah, man, everybody want that. You know what I'm saying? We all want that. But you want to also be with somebody, man, who understands, who taking the time to understand you taking the time to really understand them. Because I like the part we talked about with nurturing, right? Man, one of the biggest things when something, let's just say you come in and something on your mind, you really don't even want to probably talk about it. Because every situation, you're not coming home sharing. I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep 100. Every situation,
Yeah.
I'm not coming home
100. Yeah.
sharing with her. You know what I'm saying? But it's a way that she know, like, if she asks me, it's the way I twist my lips, like, what's wrong? And nothing. And she know already, like, yeah, something wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what you mean? You know what I'm saying? So da. And I may need that space and time to articulate it and understand it first before I can articulate it to her and understand what this is. And so, but I'm holding this energy and I'm like, man, where do I put it? So, like you said though, Sherrod, learning peace, it's learning how to put some of this shit someplace. Like I didn't know earlier in my life that going to the gym was just as beneficial as it was mental health for me and emotional health and emotional intelligence for me, as opposed to the physical aspect of it, right? Because I'm doing it from a physical perspective. It's the vanity, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna look
Mm-hmm.
good, I'm gonna look
Mm-hmm.
good, yada yada yada. But it took me
Yeah.
years to grow to realize, like, man, this shit's therapeutic for me. You know what I'm saying? To
Yeah.
do this, to work out, to get to this place, right? And I think a lot of times guys have to understand that where you put this certain energy at. You know what I'm saying? Because you can put it, we talked about this before, you can put it in different places. You can put it in sex. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, man, like, let's keep real. Sex can be a stress reliever from this point in time until it gets to a point where it becomes dependent upon this is the only way that you can relieve this
Right.
stress of it. Now we got to reevaluate that thing. You feel me? But some people don't know that they got to reevaluate that shit. Because somebody come in, like we talked about before, somebody come in, man, my stress reliever, and they got to come in, baby, chill for a minute. Let me get my drink first. You know what I'm saying? Let me pour me some little henny. Now we can talk. And next thing you know, you're doing that every day. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
damn. Now it went from, one little thing. Now I'm doubling that thing on up. Now we got some problems, right? So it's evaluating this shit, man. Constantly reevaluating ourselves, constantly understanding ourselves, constantly trying to listen, and vice versa. That we paying attention to, because she may be the one to come on like, I just need chill for a minute. Let me make me a little drink from this point. You're like, damn, baby, you know what I'm saying? That's, you kind of, and now that's an issue. Now it's a fight, right? So how do I touch upon that? Where are we going down a slippery slope here? You feel me? So it's constant assessment, man, to what it is that I want out of a relationship. What do I value? How do I value it? And it took me time to get there, bro. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It
Yeah.
just took it. I'm saying for me personally,
Yeah.
it took me time to get there. And the whole prayer, like you said, man, that younger brothers or anyone kind of gets that to that place sooner. Um, but you got to know, like you said, you got to understand what you want out of life, and you got to also know, man, like you said, we talk about the nurturing. I didn't know how to tell my woman before how what I needed to be nurtured. I couldn't tell you that. I could tell you what I didn't want. I don't want to hear your ass nagging and shit when I come home. I could tell you that. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? That I can tell you what I didn't
Right.
want, but I couldn't tell you. damn, baby, I just need you. Just rub my shoulders for a minute. I just need to feel
Mm,
your hands on my skin. Not knowing in that moment, that's nurturing to me. That's slowing me down. That's slowing down my central nervous system, right? I couldn't expect that to you, man, in my 20s and my 30s, you know. But now in my 50s, I can, and I can do that. So I started learning those skill sets as I got a little bit earlier. I mean, older to articulate that. So
yeah,
like we could look at this whole thing, like intimacy is different from sex. So
yeah,
how
yes,
are we articulating that?
yeah,
So yeah, it's a lot of questions, man. It's a lot of conversations that come along from that point, but and that's the whole thing to make the life better for everybody. You know, that's
yeah.
how that's my
Yeah,
take on
you
that.
know, happy wife, happy life, happy spouse, happy house.
Hmm.
That is
Yes, sir.
definitely the mindset. Like you
Yeah,
said, that you said something to your wife, hey, and your wife and didn't like the way you said it to her. I know my wife, she changed her whole delivery. And when we talk, from when we first got together, I got a
yeah,
rah rah girl. She's
yeah,
hey,
yeah,
what the girl all day long.
yeah. Don't right,
I'm telling you.
right.
But
I'm telling you, right.
when I talk to her about her delivery, when it's going to be received on good ground. Oh man, like a teammate. If you on the wing, you tell your boy to cut to the hole, and you're gonna drop the ball, just like a teammate.
That
You
teammate.
know,
Yep,
yeah,
yep,
she got you, baby. It's totally
yep.
different. So at this age now, like you said, over time, I've learned what I want, what I will work on for myself for the benefit of the relationship, and all of that came and from getting to know myself. I didn't get to know myself greatly at a young age. Like I say, it took
Took years.
years,
Yeah, took years.
and
Yep.
that wisdom, but I think that is one of the big things for young men. We battle with that emotional intelligence. We battle with feeling not being heard or being unseen. Take that time to get to know yourself. You know, take some time to yourself to get to know yourself. It's cool. If you want to, like I said, I was a reluctant player because I didn't know what I wanted in a woman. I was one of them guys hopping, hopping, hopping. I know I done hurt some people. I've been hurt before, so and I don't want to. I don't want to be that person. Didn't want to be that person. Didn't want my son to be that person. Didn't want my daughter to go through that. So but as I got older and I started telling them, I see the results with my son. He listens. You know, 35, no kids, job. Not until we get married. You know what I'm saying? Understand his peace. You know what I'm saying? But I want young people to, especially young men, get to know yourself. Take some time. I think a sabbatical is great for young men, or just some time to experience some other areas instead of the city you live in. Travel, get to see some other stuff, and then you'll find an idea who you are, and then you'll be able to move accordingly because you'll be okay with saying no. Nah, that ain't me. Where peer
Yes,
pressure
sir.
as young men, we be like going along to get along sometime and put ourselves in a bad position. But you get to know who yourself, you'll be like, nah, cool. I'm cool. That ain't me, you know. But yeah, I think that's great. A great thing for young men to do. Get to know yourself. Take some time for yourself because two hurt people is way worse than just one hurt people. When you be hurt by yourself, you be hurt alone, boy.
Yeah, yeah,
And that,
yeah,
and then you isolate, and that could lead into something else. I was reading
yep,
something with was you saying that's Sherrod about suicide rate for men because we
Yeah,
carry so much stuff on us.
yeah.
It's the highest rate. So, but don't I don't want young men not to feel as though it's not okay to feel, have a voice, or express
Let it
yourself
out.
because
Yeah.
your feelings is valid. You might need some help to navigate through them feelings. And if you find you a good woman or a good young lady, you know, it'll be one that you want to work with and she want to work you. Find your teammate. And that's all I wish for young men. And culturally speaking, I love black love and I want to see it. So that's just how I feel. Me on the outside looking in at all the good brothers with good wives and good families. Yeah.
And see, the thing is, I've heard so many women get on this blue app, and I think there's one lady right here. She got on this blue app, man, was saying if her man cries in front of her, she automatically just think he a punk, you know.
Hmm.
And it's like, okay, I gotta let y'all hear this. I gotta let you hear this, man, because this is why I believe a lot of young men or men, period, don't do it.
If a man cries in front of me, say like he's having a horrible day and we go on a date, and he cries and starts complaining about all the horrible things that happened in his day and this and that, that's going to turn me off. I can say I'm the most empathetic person in the world. That's gonna turn me off.
Now you see why a lot of men, are like, I'm gonna keep it to myself. I
Yeah.
understand it. That's why you have to take time to get to know who you are dealing with.
Mhm.
Because you can get a woman like this and she'll destroy you.
Ooh.
Oh
She'll
man,
destroy
yeah.
you.
Ooh.
And
Yeah.
for me, my mom was a yeller, right? So off bat, I'm letting you know, if you're gonna talk to me, don't yell. Please don't, because if you start yelling, I'm gonna shut down. And if I
Yeah.
shut down on you, it's gonna be kind of hard for me to come back because I'm not gonna yell at you. I don't like yelling. And with me, I know I got a slick tongue. It comes off sharp sometimes, and a lot of times I don't even mean to come off smart to you. It's just the way I've navigated life and just spoke to people. When you're dealing in the streets, a lot of times, and I know we shouldn't bring the streets back into the house, but sometimes when you just out there, and that's how you just had to handle and navigate different motherfuckers out here, you make a mistake and bring it home. And
Yeah.
I've had to learn how to become softer when it comes to women, because it's just straight up like X, Y, Z, boom,
Mhm.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? And now I got to understand, like, you know what, you know, just understanding the sensitivities of other people, period. And it took me a while to get there, man. Just understanding, okay, bro, to you it makes sense in your head, but now you have to understand who you're dealing with, whether it's man, woman, friend, brother, whatever. It's learning how to speak to folks. I know how I don't want people to speak to me. Now I have to learn how other people don't want to be spoken to and how they want to be treated, don't want to be treated, and in learning who we are, I think we'll gain that emotional intelligence as well. You know, I could say, "Hey, what's up, Phil?" And he might just keep walking. He got shit on his mind instead of saying, "Oh, this nigga ain't talk. What? Fuck that nigga." Instead, I can just be like, you know what, this man probably got something on his mind or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'll pull his coattail later on, be like, yo, bro, I hollered at you, man. And then Phil will be like, you know what, man? I just had a lot of shit on my mind, bro. There's just different way. There's a proper way to approach all situations, and I think we should try to approach it with the mind of understanding each other, you know. And I think that's part of the growing up process is telling these young men, look, okay, I know we're preaching to you to learn yourself, but in doing so, you're going to have to pay attention to your lady too. You're going to have to pay attention to your friends around you. Pay attention to people, right? Because you want to develop this emotional intelligence as well. You want to be able to understand the plights and the different nuances of friendships and relationships. Life it's kind of complicated, but it's simple at the same time. It's about just sitting here, listening, listen to understand and
Mhm.
comprehend and all that good stuff before we're trying to listen to respond. And I'm glad y'all brothers are on this panel with me, man, because I can actually tell you I'm sitting here like, okay, I'm about to, I can retool some things, I can go ahead and work on a few things and this and that and the other. Okay, I need to tweak this and tweak that. And everything is in real time. And I'm going to admit, I am going to be a work in progress for the rest of my life.
Mm.
And like Phil
Yes, sir.
said,
Yeah, that's okay.
all L's are
Yes,
not
sir.
Yeah,
losses, they're
yeah, we
lessons.
all are. Hey,
So
let's.
I appreciate you, brothers, man, because I'm sitting up here learning as we go along, man, and what you guys are teaching me from your different perspectives, from your different experiences, I can go ahead and pass that along to other folks and be like, yo, I didn't have this answer until I just talked to my mans in them. And
Hmm.
No
I
doubt.
don't mind not knowing, because
Yeah.
when I don't know
Yeah.
something and I gain a new perspective of something, then I become a newer and more improve
Yes,
me.
sir.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it is. Iron sharpening iron. That's what it
There,
is.
there you
You
Yes,
know
go.
what I'm
sir.
saying? You know.
Yeah, yeah, that
Yeah.
part.
That's what's up, man. It's always a pleasure being in a group with you fellas, man. Cause like Rod said, we always pick up something from one another, and we always give each other's great advice. And hopefully, some ones that's watching and listening can pick up on some of this wisdom that we're dropping, some of these jewels that we're dropping, and it affects you in a way that it needs to in a positive manner. You know. So we wrapping
Phil.
up.
Yep, we wrapping up, man. Phil, Bo, man, what's the word, man? What's y'all word for the folks, man? Before we get off and check out the rest of this Lions game.
That's okay. Um, I just I want the young brothers and the older brothers, the people period, not be scared, especially us brother, culturally speaking, black men. Not to be scared to express yourself to someone of how you feeling, because navigating your way through some of these emotions is one of the biggest and most powerful things you can do. Acquiring emotional intelligence, like you said, will try along the way. Learning to navigate your way through these emotions and having someone to talk to or expressing yourself, because your feelings is valid. You just have to get an understanding how to work your way through them feelings, correctly. And don't never feel like you're alone if you got somebody. And my wife was telling me one of her people, his brother passed away from unaliving himself. So I believe that when it come to us as black men, yes, man, this was 4 days ago, and feel ashamed. And I think that's the thing, a lot of shame on us for feeling emotional, for us having emotions. So don't be ashamed, young brothers, older brothers, period. Don't be ashamed to be emotional and have someone and try to find someone to help you express yourself. Expressing those feelings and getting them out is very important. You know, we rock with you. Just want to let
Yes,
y'all
sir.
know that.
Yes, sir. Phil, what's the good word?
That part. Sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, I second what Johnny is saying, man. Like 100, man. Like you gotta don't be afraid of your emotions, man. Speak them. You know what I'm saying? You got to talk. You got to talk, man. You got to talk, and it's okay. Like so, when you looked at that video, uh, like with that woman from this way, I'm quite sure younger is my son. I'm quite sure probably on that video she was younger from that way. Uh, and so that's a young perspective, man. When you get to a certain point in time in your life, man, you just got to be able to look. This was on my mind, and I can articulate what's on my mind. What's going on with me from this point in time, and I'm no longer afraid of that and ashamed of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, some things that's maybe on my mind with my woman, I just be able to tell her, look, man, that's just coming from fear. Right now, I'm kind of scared what the outcome may be on this situation. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you're feeling. You know what I'm saying? I've got a little anxiety on this part right now from this point. That doesn't make me less than anything. As a matter of fact, it's just the opposite. It
Mm-hmm.
makes me more of a man that I can come to you and tell you, like, baby, this is what's going on from this point in time. Because I'm no longer afraid of what the judgment is any longer, right? So that's the part, man. Talk about this shit, man. Be honest
Mm-hmm.
with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Talk about tell your boys, but you gotta take that shit to the crib. You gotta be able to tell your woman, man, because that's the safe place. That's part of nurturing as well too. Because if she don't know how I'm expecting for her to heal me, to help me, to get me through that shit, if I ain't articulating and telling her, you feel me? So we gotta talk to that shit, man. And and vice versa. I'm expecting the same thing from her as well too. So, damn, what that little young chick is saying about, if a man expressing that, you young, you just don't know no better right now. You feel me? So, you're gonna keep thinking you want the Marlboro man from that way. And trust me, man, that dude don't exist. You feel me?
Right.
That dude does not exist out here, man. So, you know, um, and that's just where I'm at, man, in my life. So, I'm no longer afraid to say that. I'm no longer afraid to say this is what I am, who I am, and I gotta know how to say it now, because I know that shit that makes me feel better about some shit. I can be like, oh, damn, well, that shit was weighing heavy on me, man. You know what I'm saying? For real, it was weighing heavy. So yeah, that's so I second that, man. What Johnny is saying from that point, man. That's 100.
And I'm gonna piggyback off of both of you. Don't be afraid to talk like they say. And if you need counseling, there's nothing wrong with counseling. Counseling helps. So don't get into the stigma
Yeah,
that black men don't do counseling. That's BS. We do. And I'm a sole provider and survivor of counseling. So get out there. If you can't talk to your family members or a good friend, find you a good counselor. A church member, somebody that's not affiliated with your family and things like that, because you don't want your stuff getting out. Do that counseling. It helps because you can talk to that person, leave it there, and it helps you go on with your day and with your life because now you've gotten that off your chest. You know what I'm saying? So I believe in it and I push it. So don't feel afraid or unsure about it because it does work.
facts.
And uh,
I agree with that.
Right.
oh, you straight for it? I didn't want to cut you off.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, yeah. No, no,
Oh
no.
no
You ain't
no,
cut me off. You
and
good. Yeah.
then but the last thing I want to say is just hey, men, ladies that have young boys out there that you're trying to find a message for. You know, hey man, hit us in this comment section, man. Let us know, man. That address it towards, you know, uh, Bo, Phil, Will, myself. You know, we're gonna try to get back and answer all of these questions, man. We're gonna try to give you all our insights and our best answers to what may ails you. You know what I'm saying? So we're here to help. You know, we're here to give y'all a big ass hug when you need one, fellas. Don't be afraid to let your emotions out sometimes, man. You know, it's nothing wrong with saying I'm hurting, and if you're hurting, let somebody know you need some help. It ain't nothing wrong with it, man. All that tough shit will take you to the
Yeah.
grave.
Facts.
Big
Facts.
facts.
Big facts on that one.
All right,
Right,
Will,
right,
take
right,
us
right,
out of
right.
here, brother.
Yeah, man, it has been a pleasure talking to everybody. If you're listening to this podcast, it's called Conversation with Soul Brothers. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and let somebody know, to tell somebody that the brothers out here taking information and giving information out. I holla.
Peace.